Map is taking longer and longer to load each time because we've seen more and more of it, we've killed more and more on it, and all that. Okay, and we do have our 15 now katanas that we've collected. Hey, Zach President. And as a reminder, we don't have any mods that are adjusting like loot tables or items in the world or cars or anything. So you're seeing all of those katanas on the bed here. That's how many katanas we've legitimately gotten. And you're probably going, but wait, how do you get quite so many katanas? Well, when you're at 16 times the zombies, you get 16 times the katanas. What was our food situation? We have a whole bunch of potatoes. Gotcha. Yeah, I enjoyed Destiny. I played that a while back. Alright, so we still got that. We've got a chair on us because we're using that to relax. We've got some spare weapons. Burden's on dropping in, doing the push-ups immediately. Okay, but yep, we're just going to go right into it. Okay, we're just about to hit March. At which point I'll plant everything and do all that. What was the weather that we have our bag out and all that ready? You need fuel. I can't remember if we were staying back because we're about to have bad weather, or if we just stopped for a resupply. Like, I don't remember what the circumstances were. I will say we are basically pretty much out of potatoes at this point. Not really, but we're starting to wind down our potato supply. I'm going to assume that we were going out again. Why did I leave you parked here? What were we doing? Oh, come on. Okay, and last I remember we were pushing towards the Enigma bookstore. We kept getting into fights, and just not quite managing to... Like, we were killing tons and tons of zombies. Like, numbers-wise, we're making really good progress. But I'm actually, like, geographically making progress. We did seem to stalemate right around the Enigma bookstore. Alright, we've got rain. That's not great, but I actually don't mind that too much. Like, that just means night will be darker, which is okay, because we try not to do much at night if we can help it. I think when we go ahead and we get our farm set back up. I'm going to actually set some stuff aside to actually do a little bit of trapping, because I pretty much never do trapping. And you know, why not? So we can do a mix of that and fishing and all sorts of stuff. Diversify our palette a little bit. Alright, so yeah, we were at about 32,000 zombie kills. It's like, wait, how many did we kill? Yeah, so we're around 32,000 zombies killed so far. We've survived for 7 months, 25 days, so doing really well there. I did notice there's like a whole bunch of people I've been watching who've been doing their, like, they're pushing for 100,000 zombies on various settings. And I'm like, oh, they're all starting to catch up and pass me. It's like, oh, right, because I have like 3 days a week. I'm not streaming Project Zomboid. I'm doing other games. So even though I do longer play sessions than they do, they have more play sessions in the specific game, which gives them more total time per week. It does make sense that they would catch up and pass me. That said, that's not our goal. Our goal isn't to just kill X number of zombies. Our goal is to kill them all. And kill them all we shall. I was just peeking over because at the beginning of the stream, the edge of the green screen were shown because I guess the camera isn't going to remember to zoom in just a tiny bit. So I'm going to have to do that each time, which is a little annoying. It's only like a 5-10% zoom. Oh, I should have tested before stream if I can put the desk into stand mode. I meant to do that. Well, too late for that now, because when I do that I want to be behind the desk to watch all the wires. They should all have enough slack, but you want to be ready to stop the desk at a moment's notice in case anything gets taut. You especially don't want to do it with the computer running, just in case, you know, it yanks out a cable or something that can, you know, damage or whatever. Thank you for the follow, Pat the Map. Welcome to the stream. Now, is that a name, Pat the Map? Like, the map's name is Pat, or is it like Pat the Map, like showing it signs of endearment and affection? I mean, I assume it's just the name, but it seems like a fun play on the words. Which I assume if you've had that name on stream for a while, you probably go, oh, I've heard that one before. To which I'd say fair. Just the same as I've heard rural storage so many times. Nope, you want to pat the map and to give love. Yep. I mean, map saves lives. Excuse you, this area is clear of zombies. Don't make me a liar. Hey, Sugar, how's it going? Alright, just follow me off the road. The more I keep you all off the road, the less less of a problem is later when I'm cruising along and not jumping. It's going pretty well. Grab myself a little lunch, got a little bit done around the house. Now streaming. Working our way back up to Riverside so we can get back to clearing. Yep, factory warehouse area still looks plenty clear. That's good. It'll probably be over here about just a little bit before this turn that we'll more than likely start seeing some zombies that have wandered around. That's fine. We'll kill them. We'll keep working our way back up to Riverside proper. We've killed most of the zombies in like the downtown area of Riverside, but still plenty left. Nowhere near clear yet. But we've probably killed close to 10,000 zombies in that area, so we are making a pretty good dent on the Riverside population. Just 10 so far. We just got started. Oh, the to-do list. Thank you. The question is, at what point do I start shedding layers? Because we are pretty much in the last day of winter, I believe. You finally get to see what Ellen looks like. Oh yeah. Ellen, who's got, you know, all sorts of masks and layers and everything on them. Oh, there's not enough room in the backpack for it. I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't give me any defense, it's just insulation, so if we're getting hot, I might as well just take that off at this point. Yep, so we are going to be doing alright, Burn and Sun cashing in the second round of push-ups they've got. Hey, how's it going, Devin Flo? Metaverse says, I find your lack of zombies disturbing. Yeah. I mean, it does mean we have killed 23,000, or 22,000, 32,000. That's being a little bit dyslexic in that moment. So, there's certainly been some kills. I think anyone who's killed like 32,000 of anything is probably disturbing. Outside, I don't know, like, the bug person coming in and doing spraying and that. Thank you. I mean, it's a shirt advertising a product, but I don't have, like, anything with the product, so not gonna worry about saying what company does it. I'm actually not that particularly big a fan of their product. But I like the shirt. I saw zombies back there. Let's get them. Hey! Full jug of milk. Give me 1 second, I'll drop you a shout out. Full jug of milk, also playing Project Zomboid. So, how was your stream? Hopefully, the only deaths were the zombies, and if not, hopefully those deaths are at least fun and or you learn something. Gotcha. If you died a lot, were you doing some like challenge thing or just playing recklessly? Or just having an off day? Ah, rusty is fair. Yep. That's always one of my concerns with where I switch around my games now. I always get concerned after like the 2 days I take away with RimWorld. That's like, oh man, do I just want to jump into like my main long run that we've been working on for weeks and weeks after, you know, not playing for a couple of days, or do we want to do something to warm up first? So far, we've just hopped in and I just play it a little safe at the beginning before we ramp things up, which is fine. That's usually how it works out anyways. Have to deal with a bunch of stragglers showing up before we go after the main course downtown. But like always, when we show up, we're gonna go and make sure we quote-unquote clear our exit. Make sure we have it. By that I mean there's a house over here we've been sleeping in. That's kind of a place we stay when we're in Riverside. We're just gonna make sure there's no zombies chilling around that house. Give it a nice little perimeter check. Then we'll start just pushing right down the main road again. Because that's been my entire strategy so far with Riverside, is if I just keep going down that main road, and zombies keep showing up on that main road, then we just keep going. Sooner or later they'll stop showing up and I stop having to worry about it. Plus I still want to get into Enigma bookstore to see if we can't find the expert tailoring book I'm missing. Because tailoring has absolutely saved our skin once this run. After Secret Zombie was hiding behind my box van, so I couldn't see it at all until I basically walked into its open arms. Which is when we stopped using the box van, because the only counterplay is to like yell or, you know, stay away from the box van, or park straight up and down every single time, which, no thank you. And I'm only putting 2 potatoes in there, just because when you get to, I believe it's 3 of an ingredient, you'll stop getting happiness, and then it's like 4, you'll get like negative happiness and that kind of thing. So, 2 is just kind of this part where you'll get the teeniest, tiniest bit of happiness. So, keep doing. And just to clarify, that's putting the same ingredient in there multiple times. The TLDR is the more different ingredients you put in, so the more variety of ingredients you put in, the happier it'll make you. The more repeats of ingredients you put in, the sadder it'll make you. I vaguely remember that, I think we had 2 days of, like, bad weather when we ended stream last time, that we were just doing stuff by the base or something. Like, I think it was, like, fog or something, if I recall correctly. And then on top of that, we, as I recall, we had basically tapped out of our, water and whatnot. Well, it said the next time we go back to base, we plant a bunch of our plants because it will be spring again. And then we'll be able to fish and farm and trap. Actually get some decent food going on. Whereas my character's been living on potatoes. You got some food, let the lurk begin. Excellent. Lurking food is a good time. I definitely took like an extra minute or two starting my stream because I was like, alright, let me eat my lunch real fast. Okay, I'll go ahead and start the countdown, eat my lunch. 5 minutes should be plenty of time. I was wrong. For the record. So the first time someone was like, oh, it's time for push-ups, like, excellent. I'll just do the push-ups, and then I'll finish my mashed potatoes. Alright, and the house you've been staying in is right over here. As you can tell by the fact that I constantly get a row of bodies right here, just from whatever zombies we bump into the area. Yeah, so we got a group here, and I saw a group out back. So we want to kill both those, because keeping our exits safe is always the important play. You need to know when things go sideways where you go. Alright, there's the group that was out front. Let's get the group that was out back. And I just want to avoid that corner so that I don't get, caught from some going around the corner before I can hit it. Alright, looks like we're all good. Our home away from home is secure. And making pretty good time, so we'll just push on to downtown. Hey, Dog Rules, how's it going? I'm gonna kill these 3 zombies that have been just looming up. Oh, well, all those zombies looming up there, because they're still close enough to home. Probably best we just get rid of them. Gotcha. Playing some Lost Ark. Lost Ark looked pretty good. I heard that the leveling process wasn't particularly satisfying, but the end game was good. That's just what I heard secondhand. I haven't played myself. It's definitely been a game I've been interested in checking out. It's just the classic problem of I stream every day. The game people expect to see on stream is Project Zomboid and RimWorld. And MMOs just require too much time to fit into one day a week. It's the same reason as awesome as the Path of Exile League is looking, I haven't touched it at all, because there isn't just lightly playing Path of Exile, you're playing or you're not. Just because of how much time it requires. Alright, that's fine, they can stay there. pretty soon a lot of these buys are going to start disappearing. Alright, looked like we had a decent sized horde up in the trees here. And 1 or 2 stragglers behind us. Oh yeah, that's like the whole thing. I was actually having a discussion before stream because some of the people I play Project Zomboid with multiplayer and other games with multiplayers, you know, they're wanting to do things other than just Project Zomboid, which is fair. And you know, I kind of respond like, well, that's like, I will not be offended if people want to play other games and all that. Like, I get it. Streaming does kind of trap you into a couple games, like whatever's popular both on Twitch and on your platform at a given time. But it very much does lean towards games that have lots of replay value. Because, like, we were just talking about different games to potentially look at on stream, because I have noticed that RimWorld's, the number of people playing or viewing RimWorld on Twitch, not my stream specific, but on Twitch, has been kind of slowly going down, which makes sense. The game's been around for a very long time. It's a very good game. But I was kind of looking at that going, oh, you know, there's probably going to be a point in time when I have to go, alright, well, maybe we put something else in the spot. We're not there yet. But it's one of those things that you do have to, as someone who streams, you have to keep that in mind going, okay, well, how is this game doing on Twitch? Because, like, sure, I could stream Timberborn, I had a wonderful time with it, but no one really watches it on any real amount, so it's like, that's not good for the channel or anything. But we were talking about games that's like, oh yeah, games like Borderlands 3 were a heck of a lot of fun, but have very little replay value, so people get in, it's hot for a little while, and then it fades. Like, that's just what happens. But, yeah, and there's going to be a time that happens to Project Zomboid as well. Like, it may be a very long time, because it has tons and tons of replay value, they're still updating it, that kind of thing. But there'll probably be a point that, you know, even if the game is still good and growing and all that, that maybe it's just not popular on Twitch. Because there are tons of really good games that just Twitch doesn't seem to have any interesting. Hey, Nolotic. Not necessarily dog rules. This is the same thing I told the person I was talking to this about. It's like, I don't necessarily chase games with high viewership so much as I will avoid games that don't really have a viewership. Because, like, it doesn't need to be, like, a huge game or anything, by all means. Because especially those huge games, you're going to have lots and lots of people streaming them. You know, it's effectively lots and lots of competition. You have to take that into consideration. But when you're going on, you're going to hop on a game, it's like, how many people are watching this on all of Twitch right now? Oh, 120. It's like, alright, well, maybe that's probably not a good idea if I actually am trying to grow the channel. Like, and that's like the Timberborn situation. I really, really enjoyed it, but we played it twice on stream, and most of the time our audience was around like 20-30 people, which is fine, but we were the #1 Timberborn stream in English, and I didn't check their languages, on all of Twitch. And like, I think both of those days, if not one of those days, if you took everyone else streaming it, combined them, you got the amount of people I had on stream. It's like, that's not good for streaming. It's a great game. I actually really enjoyed Timberborn and would love to play it more. It's just not a good game for streaming. But yeah, no, I don't... Like, I'm not chasing the maximum of your games, otherwise I'd absolutely be playing games like, you know, Lost Ark, and when New World was fresh, I'd be playing New World, and whatever the next game dropping. But nah. Yeah. I do find a lot of, like, the grand strategy games don't do well. And I get it. They can be very, very slow. There's no... Like, the intense moments in those games are still very chill. Like, it's intense in the fact that like, you're winning or losing, not intense in the fact that like you're having to react and adjust and constantly change your strategy. Like, Civ is definitely one of those games you typically lean in on, say, this is my strategy I'm going with. I lean in about the only thing that changes, like, maybe who your target is, or the specifics of how you're going to approach. Alright, I'll get that hydrate here in a moment. And this is me saying as someone who really likes Civ. But it is, you come up with your strategy, you invest in it. There's not a lot of pivoting. Versus games like RimWorld and Project Zomboid between meta events and that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, here's the thing you're doing. Well, here comes the helicopter, so what your plans were, forget about it. You have new plans. So yeah, there's not a lot of interest there so far as bouncing around. And again, and I like Civ. It's the same thing with like Stellaris. Grand strategy is hard to do. I've seen Stellaris work where, as Foxmouse is saying, you know, if you do a multiplayer on stream with personalities, that can work. But at that point, you're basically doing personalities in that. We did not get to the bookstore. We got to like the door of the bookstore. But we have been in the absolute meat grinder there. We've killed more than 10,000 zombies in Riverside itself at this point. So like right now I'm not pressuring, like we were only pressuring the bookstore hard when we knew some bad weather was coming because I wanted to, like really wanted to have that book read for said bad weather. But when it didn't happen, it's like, alright, well we're just killing zombie. Could you not flank? You? Wasn't watching our stamina. We dipped a little bit into moderate exertion. I found it interesting. Earlier today I was in, I hopped in a few people's stream. Most of them I lurked. But it was like Royal with Cheese, Lamprey, a couple others. But, in Royal with Cheese, so I was like, oh, is this Mr. Shortblade? I'm like, apparently my name is Mr. Shortblade now? What? I mean, I don't disagree, but... what? I'm not the only one who Shortblades it up. I enjoy Royal with Cheese's stream, though, a lot. Yeah, let's take it down. These body piles are real big here. You have to find the Carpentry Intermediates book. Yeah, I mean, usually the bookstores are pretty reliable in getting it. Otherwise, you have like hardware stores and all that. A lot of times will carry those specific books. And last time we played, we very nearly died just from the bodies. Not like the bodies made us unable to fight well or anything. I mean, literally the bodies were so bad, we got feverish to the point that we were losing life and almost died. Ah, gotcha. So it's... you know where the books are in regards to places you can find them, but actually pushing in to get them is a trick. And that's fair, especially depending on your settings. It can be real tough. Or if you're new to the game, it can be tough because that's where things get hairy. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's actually one of those things is, and I get that, especially like when people's work schedules go. There's been a few people who've been like fairly long-term viewers for me who are like, I'm so sad I don't get to see your streams anymore. Like my work schedule switched. Now I'm working third, so like you start streaming as I need to be already asleep, and you know I wake up around the time like, I have to wake and go to work right away. It's just like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, you know, I'm sorry to see that you can't be here or whatever, but I get it. Work schedules be like that. So if you're someone who plays games and you do the thing where you pick up absolutely everything, 100% Project Zomboid will both punish you for it and encourage that endlessly. Like you reach a point where you learn to stop picking things up. It's just like when you have people play. Was that what I thought it was? Destroyed. All right. It's just like when you see people and it's their first time playing Skyrim and they start picking up every little like cup, mug, plate, and fork, and then very quickly the game's like, no, you're just not going to get away with it. So the game does very quickly go, look, you don't actually want this, stop picking it up. I'd still pick up watches to level electronics if I really had any reason to do so. It is one of the bummers in the game that really electrical skill, once you can hotwire cars, there's not a whole lot left that you're like, oh, I want that. I think like removing a stove is kind of one more point investment there, but past that it's like, alright, I can make stuff, but why would I? Well, that one has a hunting knife, but I'll never find that body again. Okay, and I need to be better about doing what I just did, which is that zombie was a crawler, so the knife stab animation is... Oh, we did find it. What do you know? The knife stab animation is very slow, versus stepping on him is pretty quick. Oh yeah. Yeah. That was Fallout 76, which granted, you know, yeah, a lot of the BS around the carry weight and all that was stuff that shouldn't have been the way it was. But it is one of those games, it's like, you would try and learn to abuse the carry mechanic because you just really wanted to carry more but couldn't, and your storage was limited, so you even had more of a reason not to pick up stuff. And like, to me that was a detriment in the game. It's like, but I can't get all the cool things because I can't put them anywhere. That's another game I need to revisit. I know people really badmouthed the game when it first came out, and the way I approached this, I said, okay, was it a decent game? Sure. Was it a decent Fallout game? That I wouldn't agree to. Like, it was a game, it was good-ish, you know, till they got microtransaction-y. But, was it a good Fallout game? No. Like, it was, like, it being in the Fallout IP, like, it did neither service to Fallout's IP, or Fallout IP did service to it. Yeah, no, I heard that. Like, I actually had one of the previous streams that they're like, yeah, you know, it's actually a decent game now. Like, okay. And that's happened to a number of games that, you know, a company invested and said, we want this to be a long-run game, and then, you know, they absolutely bombed the launch of it. Was that a nightstick right there? It was. And that they come back around and they, like, slowly make it better and fix it. I also wonder if, like, Microsoft's involvement now has improved a lot of stuff. Are we already drowsy? We are. Yeah, how is Destiny? Because I know I played Destiny 2 when it first came out, and it was fun, but there wasn't enough real endgame content. There was just grinding the same events a couple of times, and then there was, like, the one... I don't know what they called it, but the oh, it was raids, wasn't it? But yeah, it's like the one thing. They add, like, the heroic one, but it's like, okay, but literally you're just making me repeat the same content, and I need more of this content to be justified for that. Like even games like World of Warcraft where you could make like the heroic versions of the dungeons and all that, it's like, okay, but how many dungeons did they have that they could do that with before that didn't feel awful? Or was it mythic or whatever the terminology was? Adverse says, I stopped at the second DLC, but the raids were the only part of the game, ended up being half decent. Yeah, I actually... So early on, I really enjoyed the Battleground PvP side of things. Now, it is one of those things that once you start getting people who, like, really, really honed their craft and everything, and there was always those in every game, it wasn't as fun, because it felt like the matchmaking just got worse as time went along, where you'd have one team would be just very clearly outmatched versus the other team. Like, just looking at the people playing, you're going, these are not the same caliber players. Like, even without seeing them play, just looking at their stats, like, these are not the same caliber players. Why did you put them together? Let's top off our water because there's no reason not to. Alright, bathtub is quickly running out of water, which is not unexpected. Yeah, still no room for it, because we'll take that off, and that'll help with our heat a little bit. Yeah, I would say kind of saying things like, okay, there's a lot here, there's a lot of good you can do with this game. Like, you got 90% of the way there, but then you just leaned entirely in the, well, take the content that you've already played and repeat it.